So hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of the Glasgow Memories Podcast. I'm Frank McGowan and today I'm joined by the gorgeous and entrepreneurial Demi Friel. Demi, hello, how are you?
Absolutely buzzing.
Thank you for joining me. It's actually a pleasure and you're the first guest on the podcast, number one. Whereabouts in Glasgow did you grow up?
I'm actually from Easterhouse, which is a place in the east end of Glasgow. It's a scheme, but I absolutely loved growing up there.
What was so special about growing up in Easterhouse?
There was just a pure sense of community there. Everybody knew everybody, so when you were out playing in that, like everybody's mums and that watched you, stuff like that, do you know what I mean? My family all stayed really close. Like my mum stayed down the road from my nana and there was a big park outside and my school was round the corner and it was safe and stuff, I suppose. I had a really good childhood and nothing really went wrong when I grew up there and there was always something to do.
I love what you said there about the community. There's always like somebody's mum or your mum or an auntie or an uncle always watching. That's the way it was when I grew up. I grew up in Blackhill and there was always people looking out for you, and if you were out of line you'd get a scalp in the bum regardless of whose mother it was. There was none of this, you know, talking back to the elders and stuff like that. You were scalped and told to get to. So what were you like as a kid? How would you describe yourself looking back at yourself at that age?
In school and that, I was like a wee teacher's pet. I was quite timid, I was quite shy. I had red hair and glasses. I also get my red hair back now. I still wear glasses, I just really need to get to opticians. And I was completely different then to what I am now. I definitely grew into a wee butterfly because I'm a lot more confident now, which is a good thing, I suppose.
Do you think some of that confidence comes from growing up in somewhere like Easterhouse, where you get that confidence from your surroundings and the people around you?
As the older I've got, it's kind of a keen to like working on myself and like going through adversity.
Okay.
It's made me like this, because I probably would have always been like that. It was actually only recently, I would honestly say maybe the end of 2021. I went through a really hard time for the lockdown, like, as most people did. But from 2021, something kind of crap happened in my life that made me go like, no, I'm going to set boundaries now. And from there, this confidence came. The confidence was always there. I was just surrounded by the wrong people. And once I started deleting these people out of my life, I actually made room for really, really good people. Like my friends now, like support me 100%, where maybe the friends I had then put me down for my confidence because it made them feel like brought out their insecurities.
Yeah.
Whereas now my friends like constantly big me up 24/7. And it's good to have that because if you want to maintain a level of confidence and stuff, like you need a support system.
Absolutely. Surrounding yourself with the right people is something that people can take their whole life and never quite get right. So the fact that you're doing that and you're not even 31, that's amazing. So in the journey, I have to ask, to becoming your best self, you've been quite entrepreneurial. You are a business owner, an entrepreneur, you work in the travel industry, you've worked in many different industries. Can you tell us a bit of the background of where that, you know, love for business came from?
When I was younger, I remember being in my grand's, well, my nana's, sorry, and she had the dining room table and I used to put things all together and sit and pretend I was on a computer and like just as if I had a business. And I honestly don't know where it came from because nobody in my family owned a business. So I think it was maybe just from like the telly, like stuff that I was watching that I thought, oh, I want to be like harder. And I've always been like that because I always think if they can do it, then how can I not?
So what was your first job?
I think the first thing I done, you're going to laugh, when I was younger was sell Avon.
That's awesome. My mum was an Avon waiting. I love Avon.
Man, he had like a wee business and we used to sell like bags and stuff in Govan shop centre.
Nice.
Used to do that. Then what else? I used to have a boutique online. My son's called Brooklyn, so it's called Brooklyn Boutique. I went on to Google, found the supplier, and what I done was started taking the payment before I bought the product. I bought some of the product first, obviously, to make sure they're okay, and then my profit was coming in straight to me. Then I'm buying the product, they were happy to wait 2 weeks for it, and then I just built it up from then. There was a time at Christmas, and I think I must have only been about 19 then, and I think I made like £1,300 on New Year's Christmas Eve, and everybody was coming in to get it and all that. And I think like at that age, that's a really lot of money to make in a day.
That's an awesome achievement, especially being so young.
If I'm back into a corner and if I need money or I need to do something, I'm going to find a way to do it. I could sit down and be like, oh, like my life's a mess and I don't have any money or something, but there's no point in that for me and I just need to get up and deal with it. And I think at that point in time, I had a breakdown in a relationship and my flat was like £500 a month. And I was like, right, how am I going to pay this? And I have my son as well. But that went on for a while, and then I ended up stopping it just because of the fact that I had no work-life balance, and people used to think that I worked 24 hours a day. And then I went through a wee series of doing like kind of different network marketing companies. And I've got to say, like, I know a lot of people have their opinion on it. And it is annoying when you've got wee Selling Sally constantly in your inbox. And honestly, people listen to this and laugh because that was me. I loved the selling part of it because I'm a people person, but I didn't like the trying to recruit other people. It just didn't sit right with me. And I can honestly, hand on heart, say without a word of a lie, there's no one marketing company I've run any that I've not made money from. And if you are in one and you've lost money, then the issue lies with you. I'm not saying that because sometimes there can be things wrong with a company. Yeah. That's what actually ended up bringing me to travel.
That's awesome. Can you take a wee minute just to tell us about that and when that sort of transition from network marketing to travel industry was?
In 2020, we were in lockdown. And I seen an influencer that I knew that was in travel, and they were having an opportunity to bring on team members and stuff.
Okay.
And I didn't really know much about it, but I was like, this is something that I could do, something that I could learn while I'm stuck in these four walls, basically. There was a gap in the market for people that wanted to go to Disney that maybe don't want to go on their own. There's so many single mums now, even single dads. Like, we're not discriminating, anybody can come. And probably a lot of people thought I was mad because I started a travel business when we couldn't travel. I didn't know anything about the industry. So I learned, I done training with Marriott, Four Seasons, Emirates, all of these big massive hotel chains, and just put my time into learning. And in that time, everybody started calling me the Disney Queen, and they all used to come and ask me all the Disney questions. And then here I am now, a year later, with a company that's doing amazing.
That must have been quite daunting, not only going into business at a time where, you know, things weren't really looking good for the travel industry, but also finding a niche that no one else had, you know, and trying to pursue that.
It was quite daunting because I've got anxiety, so it was hard trying to do it all by myself, but I done it. From that one wee idea, these ideas have just kept coming, and it was always meant to be a side hustle. I had another job, and it just goes to show you, like, so from that one wee idea.
The good thing is that I can see as you're talking about this, you're smiling. So you're doing something you love. Do you want to tell us where we can find the business online?
It is on Facebook, just Boujee Breaks, and then same on Instagram, it's Boujee_Breaks. And then obviously we have an office space in Glasgow City Centre at Merchant City, but all of the details are on our Instagram.
So that's Boujee Breaks,
B-O-U-J-E-E.
B-O-U-J, why can I not speak? B-O-U-J-Y.
B-O-U-J-E-E.
J-E-E. Oh, that's what I meant to say. So that's Boujee Breaks, B-O-U-J-E-E. I'll do that again one more time. B-O-U-J-E-E Breaks. So what's your favourite platform, your kind of platform of choice? What one are you on most of the time?
I am mostly, listen to me, on Instagram. I'm trying, and do you know what it is? Because people don't understand me. I used to work in a bar, and I actually said to the girl, do you want a glass with ice? And she just looked at me, and I was like, do you want a glass with ice? And she thought I asked if she wanted a side of grass. Like, and I was like, what? She was like, sorry, I had to take that in there. I didn't know what you says. And then I was like, oh no, like, and I said to her, I apologise. I talk so fast sometimes.
I think between the two of us, because I talk quite fast as well, anybody that's listened to any of my other shows or seen me on TV or, you know, followed the career path, you'll know on my videos that I talk really, really fast, and sometimes I have to slow myself down. Between the two of us, we should look at the runtime of this episode and see if it's half the time of all the other episodes, which is probably quite likely because we're talking like this.
And the thing is, as well, is I normally jump into about 10 different mini conversations, so I'm doing all right. I'll go off track and I'll go, oh wait, and I'm back to this story and back to that one.
We're on track so far, we're doing quite well.
The thing is you're right, like with my business, it does make me happy. Like, my brand is all about incorporating my personality into my brand, and I'm a very honest person who will tell it like it is. So I'm not going to put you on a holiday in a hotel just for the money. I could do that all day long, but you're going to come home and complain about it, and ain't nobody got time for that. So I want you to go and enjoy your holiday, and if anything, like, after the last few years, people missed it so much. So it means a lot to me that people trust me to help them make memories with their family. So I take care in planning their holidays, especially when it's Disneyland, because I know how magical it can be. My mum and my dad have always been really, really hard working, so I guess that's where I've get my work ethic from. Yeah. I've always watched them like work really, really hard to give me and my brother everything that we could possibly dream of.
I know you said your mum and dad didn't necessarily run businesses, but obviously they've worked in different fields. What kind of things have your mum and dad done over the years?
My mum, like, she worked all the time. Like, she had multiple jobs, and she always has. Like, even now, she just turned 50. She owns a restaurant in Easterhouse called Wee Betty's.
Shout out to Wee Betty's in Easterhouse.
They opened another one across the road. It's her and her sisters, across the road in the Circle, so it's in like the college as well. And
Nice.
then she makes like pelmets and stuff, and she'd probably happily go and get another job as well. And I think that's where I get it from.
You were telling us about some of the places around the world you've been. Do you want to list off some of your top favourites?
So you actually got to my Instagram, I just completed a travel series. So basically that's where I was going on different holidays. And in that time I have managed to visit Marbella, which I love. So you need to go, right, you need to book it for Boujee Breaks.
Oh, absolutely, no question. I'm looking for somewhere for me and my partner to go, so yep.
I regret the guy that I took with me, but I loved it. It was beautiful. And it doesn't need to be as expensive as it looks, but you can see the travel series on there. It tells you where I stayed and stuff. It was just stunning. Then I had Amsterdam, one of my most favourite places in the world. I went with my best friends, Siobhan, and my cousin Stephanie, and I think that the company made it even better because we're all just the same. My cousin just kept laughing the whole time. I was laughing about it now because she's got the funniest laugh in the world, and that's all she done from the moment we came home.
So what's it actually like over there in Marbella?
It's just stunning. It's a chilled back, happy vibe. Nobody's angry. Obviously, well, for those reasons why. But it's just so nice, and you've got the canals and like, do you know what I mean? It's gorgeous, and the transport so quick, and there's also more bikes than people, so be prepared to get knocked down.
No, that's different to Glasgow then, because it seems that everybody on a bike in Glasgow just rides on the pavement anyway, despite the fact that we've got all these bike lanes now that have been invested in the area, which absolutely nobody's using, but hey. So going back again to when you were a kid, what games do you remember playing with your mates?
I was laughing at this when I seen this question. Remember, I used to play Kirby.
I still play Kirby, I love
I actually seen two Waynes, right? My mum stays in Garfavlick, where Glasgow Fort is. I was taking my mum's dog out. I'm sure miss him. I'm going up to St. Saturday and I can't wait to take him out.
What kind of dog?
It's a Frenchie. But I'm actually highly allergic to him, but I feel like I'm getting better. Normally I have to take like 5 antihistamine, but when I was up last week I didn't have to take any.
Okay.
So I think I'm getting used to him. But I took the dog out a walk and there was two wee boys playing Kirby, and after was like, can I get a shot? And then I remember like in my nana's street we used to play Kirby, and there was like people put up signs saying no ball games, and I was just pure game, and I was like, I'll hit you with the ball, go away. Like, I'm playing.
Did you have one particular place where you and your mates would hang out?
There was a wee place across the road from my grand's house called the Pocket Park. It's still there. I've not been in it in years right enough, but I take my daughter up to my granddad's. I actually never need to take her into that park. Anyway, so there was just everybody from like my primary, like 1 or something would all be in there. My granddad just watched out the window, make sure I was all right and stuff.
Back then, was that kind of like an all-day thing?
In the summer, we'd be in there until 11 o'clock at night. Can't do that now.
I know kids these days are more than likely glued to their phones.
My son's dad's got a tracker in his phone, and that's just so that we know where he is, which is a really smart idea. It's a shame that you need to do these things now. It's just definitely not the way it used to be.
Yeah. What do you think's the biggest thing that's changed from when we were kids?
From me being younger to now, obviously social media plays a big part in it. Like, that changed everything because you've got so many ways to connect with people that you never used to have. So people used to go out and play all the time because they're only stuck to their phone. And I've got a cheek because I am stuck to my phone 24/7. I do have to tell myself no. Brooklyn, my son's got like a screen time thing in his phone that gets cut off. I think social media just changed the game.
So when you became a teenager, what would you have described your teenage self like, and where did teenage you like to hang out?
I was an absolute riot. I was a pure rebel. I think all the years of like me, I don't know, because I get bullied and stuff, and I think I was just like jackass, do you know what I mean? And just done what I wanted. We used to drink in school. I started drinking when I was like 13. I actually had, you know, in our school, right, I went to a Catholic school, which makes it worse. We had like a bottle of water. When we went in school, you had a planner that sat on one side of the desk and a bottle of water that sat on the other, like sat the other side, and that's what it had to be, right? Then you had your prayers and all that, like whenever. Mine was full of vodka.
What school did you go to?
I went to St Clair's Primary, and then I moved to 2 other schools. I got bullied in my first high school, so then I moved to the other one, and then left and started working in my mum's restaurant, the restaurant that my mum worked in at the time.
Did you go out much in Glasgow?
I used to go to even at nightclubs and all that when I was like 15, 16. We used to let me in. So I used to go to Savoy, I used to go to Vicky's, and then I actually met my son's dad. And see, So it was destiny then seeing Ruby Room. But my cousin that I was mentioning earlier, me and her were really close and she was 2 years older than me. So I was always around older people and older crowds. So I thought like I've wished my life away. So in my teenage years, I became a mother. Best thing that ever happened to me. So I was busy. It was quite hard because that's when I realised I had an anxiety disorder. I always knew there was something wrong. I just didn't know what it was. So when I went to uni, I done a lot. I only had Brooklyn at the time, my son. And that was quite hard. And remember, my dad used to take Brooklyn on a Friday night for me so I could work in the Cannon bus station restaurant at the weekends. And I didn't have a life. It was just me, my son, like me taking care of my son and then me working and doing my uni work and stuff and at college as well before that. So I was just determined to make sure that I got my degree, but then obviously found out it wasn't for me.
You're listening to the Glasgow Memories Podcast. Stay tuned to hear more from business owner and entrepreneur Demi Friel as she talks about how her company got started after a eureka moment during lockdown, and about life growing up in Easterhouse with some of the most powerful women, including her nan and her mum, amongst many others around her, and what it means to be part of such a close-knit community in Glasgow. See you after the break. Today's episode of the Glasgow Memories Podcast is brought to you by the Conversations Network, bringing global podcast producers together. Find out more about the history of the project online at www.theconversationsnetwork.com and access archive pages, files, and the best from the worldwide podcast community. Are you interested in having your brand or business be part of the Glasgow Memories Podcast, reaching listeners on all popular streaming platforms? With packages starting from just £45, visit glasgowmemoriespodcast.co.uk for more information. If you're enjoying this podcast, leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice, hit that share button, or simply just tell a pal about the Glasgow Memories Podcast. Share your Glasgow memories at Glasgow Memories Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and if you have a story to tell, email glasgowmemories@badponymediagroup.co.uk to get in touch with our producers. Welcome back to the Glasgow Memories Podcast. My guest today is business owner and entrepreneur Demi Friel, who growing up in the East End of Glasgow has went on to run several successful businesses across the city, her work taking her around the world to some of the most stunning resorts and holiday destinations.
I'm actually from Easterhouse, which is a place in the East End of Glasgow. After the last few years, people missed out on so much, so it means a lot to me, and the people trust me to help them make memories with their family. I incorporate my personality into my brand.
Stay tuned to hear more about Demi's life growing up in Glasgow and to find out why, despite being able to go literally anywhere in the world, she loves nothing more than coming home to Glasgow. So let's take a step back in time. What was on the TV? What sort of shows did you enjoy?
I used to sit and watch all the soaps with my ma. And then my nana, I used to watch other stuff with my nana, so I used to watch Murder, She Wrote. And I used to watch Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman or something. Right. Was it Medicine Woman, is that
Dr.
right?
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, yep.
She'd get up in her horse and save the day. What was the thing that was on the Saturday with Ant and Dec and Cat Dealey?
SMTV Live.
Aye,
SMTV
that.
Live.
Used to watch that. Aye, all that kind of stuff. Like, this is what I miss. It's mad.
What would you say is the biggest thing that's changed on television since you were growing up?
I think when you watch things like that were back in the day and how like the respect people had and the way people carried themselves was totally different to now, and just people in general weren't as bad as they are now. What is it going to be like? Like, what kind of world is my daughter and my son going to grow up? I think that's probably one of my biggest worries.
Same here. It's like, what kind of world is going to be left for, the kids that are coming up? Because all you hear about now is like negativity and suicide, and bullying is quite a big part of it.
I know, and there is so much that I've heard recently about like kids being bullied and stuff, and it pure scares me. Like recently my son was kind of involved in something like that. It wasn't him, it was his friend, but he stuck up for his friend and I was proud of him for that.
Oh, well done me, man. So those of you that might not know about Easterhouse, Easterhouse is a suburb of Glasgow located just 6 miles east of the city centre, and it was originally part of Lanarkshire until the expansion of Glasgow right before the Second World War. The name Easterhouse was derived from Easterhouse Farm, which was located in what is now Millennium Court. And despite recent regeneration in the area, there are still many challenges facing local people who live there, such as a need for better health and mental health facilities, after-school programmes and improved parks and recreation. But Easterhouse is an up-and-coming area with many amazing local businesses, cafes, restaurants, shops and much more in the area. So yeah, Tony Blair, Princess Diana and the former President Jacques Chirac have all visited Easterhouse. They all heard about wee Betty's and they're all waiting for a cup of tea. And some famous people from that area who grew up in Easterhouse and lived there include radio Clyde DJ Tiger Tim Stevens, actor Tommy Flanagan and footballer Callum McGregor. Some fascinating insights there.
Charlie Sheen was in Berlin trying to get killed once, trying to get drugs. I'm pretty sure this is true, you can Google it, right? I don't know if he was in like a thing in Glasgow.
I heard a story about Tom Cruise breaking down no far outside Easterhouse. I think it was just what's that wee area called? It says you're going toward the fort and there's a wee housing estate with the wee shops there. I'm no Gathamlock has it. So I think they were passing Ridley, ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time, ambushed by hundreds of fans who were all trying to take pictures. And then
seen up there?
I actually have no idea. If anybody knows the story, please get in touch with the podcast. Let us know why Tom Cruise was in Easterhouse.
Because I'm not from there anymore, like I don't really know what's going on, but my mum's created like a really good community within her cafe and stuff as well. Like all the wee kind of older people go in, the mermaids, that's what they call them, because they go swimming. So it's good to see that, like a wee sense of community in there, but I don't really know much about anything else that goes on there I do. But other than that, I go up to me days. They take care of you.
Absolutely.
Get a cup of tea, it's free on me.
And shout out to the mermaids, maybe we can get you girls on the show.
Aye.
Going back in time again, you know, you're sitting in the living room with your mum and dad, like maybe they're reading the paper, the radio's on, there's some music playing. What songs do you hear?
Oh, my dad used to listen to Robbie Williams and U2.
What kind of things were you getting up to and what sort of places were you going to?
I was always out drinking and doing things I shouldn't have been doing. Probably cared a lot about what people thought about me. Probably looked for attention in the wrong places because you know what it's like, you were trying
to fit in.
Aye. There is a centre, like a sports centre. He's got the Phoenix Centre, so they do like boxing and stuff like that. And my brother's ended up going there and started doing boxing about 4 years ago, and now he's like doing amazing with it. So that's like helped him. I think they do loads of other things, they do like fitness classes and stuff like that.
That's amazing. I love hearing success stories of people really getting on in life. Speaking of getting on in life, getting things done, have you got any advice for anybody listening to the podcast that has maybe got a business idea, is wanting to get something moving? What's worked for you, and you know, what are the most important things you think for actually making a success of things?
I think the most important thing in business, right, to be creative and being the best version of you, I think you really need to work in yourself, because you're forever changing and your business is forever changing, and if you don't work in yourself, how's your business going to change? I know plenty of people, right, that have got personality traits that don't complement their business, and they're not up for changing them because they don't even see the problem.
What are your top tips, Demi?
Being organised and having goals and knowing what it is that you want to achieve, and then that'll kind of get you halfway there, and the rest it's just down to hard work. Work on yourself, be aware, be a good person. You can literally be and do anything that you want.
Yeah.
You just need to go for it. I think the most important thing that I've ever done is working myself. I feel like I'm more creative when I'm healthy living. If I'm out like enjoying myself too much, drinking alcohol or doing it like that, my brain's all fuzzy. Thing is as well is if you're in a business, you want to show up as your best self all the time.
Yeah.
You can tell a big massive difference in me when I've been drinking one weekend because I'll not be on my social media talking because I've got the fear of God and wondering what I've texted my ex. Do you know what I mean?
We've all been there.
I know. But if like that, you know, like, and I'm sitting here, I've got a smile on my face, I'm happy, I'm bubbly, I'm excited, always something like that 24/7.
Yeah.
But you want to have that confidence, you want to have that fire in your belly. So I do feel like that's like a key element for me.
Have you got any top tips for kind of healthy living, the things that have worked for you?
I love going out walking, and see, because the sunshine's got its hat on in Glasgow now, you can get out and about.
Yeah.
Honestly, feel like that winter made me so depressed and put my mood down so bad because I couldn't get outdoors, and you're just confined to the house all the time. And what inspiration can you get if you're sitting in the same place you've been sitting in for the last 6 months in the dark? Sometimes during the night, it's when it's bedtime, my brain comes alive and I need to actually go, oh my God, and write stuff down. But obviously I've got my notes on my phone and I'll just write ideas down, and then I'll like create some of my things in Canva and like my ideas for the month, and and then I'll decide what I want to use and what I don't want to use, and what I want to use that month, and what I do and what I don't, basically. But I've just always had this pure burning desire to be successful. I know plenty of people that want to get into business, but they've got pure limiting beliefs, and I'm like, I own a business and I have been successful. I still have limiting beliefs. Successful people, like billionaires and all that, still have these thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, you're not any different from them. They still have them. The only difference is that they don't give up despite adversity.
Yeah.
They just need to keep going, keep plowing on. What I actually say all the time is, just keep swimming, then. Just keep swimming for us to take a mental breakdown.
What you described, that resilience, is quite a Glaswegian mindset as well. I noticed that that's something that kind of like some of the strongest women in their communities have. They have that kind of resilience that makes them get up every morning no matter what the previous day has been.
Aye.
In terms of your own community, is there any women that you remember, obviously your mum, but any other women in the community that you remember that were really strong women and good influences?
I was always really, really close to my wee nana. She's not raised anymore, but she was she had like 3 different cleaning jobs and all that, and she worked right up until she had COPD, which she later died of. So she worked in like the Royal Infirmary. She used to clean in there, and she used to have loads of different jobs. And this is what I always think about my daughter. Like, I always want her to see me working hard, and that was a big thing for me, to take her to these different places this year. And it was just showing her that, you know, if you work hard, you can get whatever you want. Do you know what I mean? So I want to be that person that you're talking about, if not for my daughter, but for other kids, because their minds are so susceptible to things. Do you know what I mean? They take everything like a sponge. Don't get me wrong, it is hard, because like at night time when she's going out of bed, I'm going in the living room to work. Do you know what I mean? And I remember when I was a young child, and things like that used to hurt me because my mum and dad were always working, and like if I went to my grand's after school, all my friends would have their uniform off and get changed, but I still had my uniform on, and that still stays with me. Like, I used to be like, but why is my clothes not with my nana so I can go out and play? But now that I'm older, I understand why they done what they done and why they made the sacrifices that they made. And in the same sense, time with your family is really important as well. So you do need to have that balance.
Absolutely.
But I definitely want my daughter to grow up and be a boss like her mum.
Absolutely. I think you're definitely making the groundwork for her.
Thank you.
And you're quite close, you and your daughter, aren't you? Like, overall, you're quite close.
She's my wee bestie.
That's great. Are you quite alike as well?
She's just like me. She's just me at the back. She's very like her dad though, because she's very funny and she's very witty and quick-witted and stuff. I actually had a conversation with her, and this is something I actually really love about my relationship. She said to me after school, she was a wee bit upset, and I was like, what's wrong? And she says, after the weekend, we sit in groups in school and we talk about what we done at the weekend. People were talking to me too much, and I just got upset because I had enough. And I was like, just like a wee social battery died. God love her. But she's the best, and I just want to make a really good impression for her. And I always think to myself, like, I'm not here making it that I'm perfect. There's still so many things I need to fix about my life, and loads of work that I need to do myself, but I'm always trying to make myself better.
Do you think there's a particular sort of resistance against people who go out on their own and start a business, you know, compared to, you know, other things you can do in life, you know, based on expectations that people might have for people to do other things and other careers?
It's mad. Aye. If you go to uni and you end up with 20 grand a day, everybody's like, yay!
Yeah.
You buy a house and everybody's like, yay! You have a baby, you get married, everybody's like, yay! But you start a business and it's like, oh.
That is a thing. I actually noticed that myself when Michelle and I started the company back in 2008, because people did start telling us, do you know how many businesses actually succeed in Scotland? Do you know that there's a low rate of people who actually go on to do well? You'll probably not make any money. In terms of people who inspired you and people who you've seen do really, really well, does anybody in particular come to mind?
There's actually a girl, I can't even remember her name, but she's on social media in lockdown, and she started making these wee planners. She's now in like Forbes under 30, like she's talked to all these things, like she's giving you advice. She's saying, if you wanted to start a jewellery business, here's how I would do it, and telling you bit by bit how to start up the business. I actually seen something as well, and it was on Etsy, and you could buy t-shirts. The t-shirts cost like £5. People were selling them for 25, and their profit was nearly like 600,000 in a year. And I'm like, this is mental. Like, there's so many opportunities, so there's no excuse to say there's nothing to do. And get yourself maybe out of a situation that you're not happy in, and start building that wealth for your future.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm not going to lie, business comes with saying, you'll know yourself, its own challenges, but it's worth it.
Absolutely, it's absolutely worth it. If you've got an idea for a business, you know, reach out, get some help, get the idea moving. There's so many options just now, especially in Scotland, so yeah, get out there and do it. How did you kind of combat any haters or people that were, you know, sapping your energy at the time? You know, what was the experience like for you?
I'm trying to do something and I'm getting told by people, oh, you shouldn't do that, oh, you shouldn't do this, oh, you shouldn't do that won't work out. Nah, you should just get a real job. that is people projecting their own insecurities on you, and if you don't get rid of these people, you're never going to get to where you want to be in life. Don't get me wrong, people probably do make fun of me or say things, or they have in the past, because I've got the audacity to want more. I'm probably in group chats, people are probably chatting shit about me. I don't care, because at the end of the day, they don't pay my bills. I'm here sitting making money while they sit talk about me. If they actually went and done it, I am quite happy to deal with the challenges that I face so that I have that freedom.
Absolutely, and freedom is something that we all aspire to have a bit more of. More freedom, more money, more time with family.
Yes, exactly, and that's the thing, like, I'm not saying here, oh, look at all the holidays I went on, but I literally, since last year, went to Marbella, Amsterdam, Ben Medina, Dublin, Belfast. I went down to Southampton for a work thing, just beautiful hotel, and Disneyland Paris. I would never have been able to do that in my dizziest daydreams unless I got off my backside and built this business. I took my daughter to Ben Medina. That was our first holiday together. I surprised her.
Okay.
We actually didn't know. I told her we were going to Asda because she hates going food shopping. She's obviously only 5 at 10, so I had no idea, and I took her on the airport bus. And then at first I thought she'd seen the passports. She started seeing people with suitcases. She was like, we're at the airport? And then that was hard. But it was just such a lovely wee thing to do, just with her. So we stayed in a holiday village, which is amazing for families. It's comprised of like 4 different hotels, and it's also got a beach club. And this is the thing, when I go to these places, my clients go because they trust my opinion.
But that's the good thing, you've went yourself. You're not just looking at a brochure and giving them statistics. You've actually been there, which is a really unique part of what makes Boujee Breaks.
Boujee?
Boujee, yeah. That's what makes Boujee Breaks Boujee. But on top of that, you actually, from what I understand, you look at 3 different price levels.
Aye.
And then you can tailor packages to any sort of price range, and it means that you can give quality without compromising in any way and give it on a budget, or for people who want that little bit extra. It's really, really impressive to see that there's someone doing that, because the travel industry is notoriously known for quick sales, getting money in the door, throwing people another swing door. And that's great.
So it's an experience, and I want you to get the best of that experience. I can book the budget packages, but I can also book the themed hotels. So I'll always say to someone, what are you looking for? What kind of experience are you looking for?
Despite the fact that you've been all over the world, you choose to live in Glasgow.
Aye, I love Glasgow.
What do you think? What for you is the biggest selling point about Glasgow that makes you proud to live here and be here and work here?
I'll go on holiday and I'll be like, oh, I just want to get home, like to my own bed, to my own house. I know people have like, what's the word I want to use? Like perspectives on people that live in schemes. But see, the people that I know that have came to Easterhouse, just because you come from a place like that doesn't mean to say that you can't be somebody. And it doesn't mean that you get to actually put people down either for wanting to be somebody just because you can't do it. The 3 best friends that I've got, like, I honestly don't know what to do without them, and they're the ones that hold me up. So see, if you've got a good support system, like, that's all you really need.
Absolutely.
And if you've got friends that are saying to you, no, don't do that or don't do this, and they'll know your pals, get as far away from them as possible.
Absolutely. Get around the right people, people that compliment you, people that you compliment, people that can help share ideas, build structures with. I think it's something I've been quite lucky with, because me and my mates from school, we're the ones that started the business. We've played in a band all these years, like, we've always been the creative ones. It's the right group of people.
Aye, my friends are everything to me.
Taking me to my next question about Glasgow, where's some of your favourite places to like eat out or like shop in Glasgow?
So, I'm a wee bargain hunter, and if you go to the British Red Cross on the Barton Road in Partick, you actually get donations from Zara, and it's stuff with the tag still on it in loads of different sizes.
Wow.
So you're actually donating, and you're getting, like, you're donating to the British Red Cross, and you're getting a brand new outfit that's brand new with the tags on it, and they've got loads of different stuff. And then there's another one just a few shops down, and it's like designer clothes. But one of my friends got beautiful shoes from it, and they were designer, and they were like roll once. It's very sustainable. I love going up Byers Road and go to Ashton Lane, and it's like all the cobbled streets and stuff.
Oh, it's beautiful up there.
I'll go to like Kelvin Grove Art Galleries and all the wee bits and bobs, and there's loads of nice places to go in Glasgow, and all the parks.
So many lovely parks. So when making a decision about a food place in Glasgow, what's in your mind when you're looking around?
I always try and find a place, if I'm going for something to eat, that looks nice inside, like it's Instagrammable. It's the content creator in me, because I like to be in nice surroundings. Like, think about it, you decorate all your house to look nice because it's where you spend most of your time. So I like to go places that's got a nice vibe.
Good aesthetic and vibe. And
I like a wee brunch. Me and my pal Jodie, right, love a wee brunch. And we went to Derby Lane recently. Beautiful in there. But I will always go to nice wee coffee shops. We love our wee Starbucks, and I used to work in the Corinthian, so I love the terrace in there. I love the social, I like October, and I love Selenos. I just jump in there, and it's always coffees at the forefront of everything that day. It's like we're working and I get a good coffee.
Coffee. And speaking of the start of the day, what do you do? What's your start to the day? What sort of tips would you give people?
What kind of information are you taking in on a daily basis? So you getting up in the morning, you're straight on your phone. Like, I think that's important, because as soon as you wake up, you're taking in all that negativity. So it's making like healthy boundaries with yourself and being disciplined, and I think exercise is really important. I do yoga, so being outdoors always makes me happy. Not just about thinking positive and getting up in the morning and thinking that the world's pink and fluffy. The world isn't always pink and fluffy. There is going to be problems, but it's in recognising the problems and dealing with them. And it is hard, like, I think, as you get older, because life does beat you down a wee bit the older you get, because you get more problems, and I've got 30 years of trauma and crap and baggage to deal with. But I think the pure key to life is awareness. See, if you know who you are and you know what you're about, and you believe in yourself, and you know what you bring to the table and stuff, people's opinions are going to fall off. Like, just, they're not even going to get anywhere near you. Do you know what I mean? You're going to let them into your space. And then if you don't care about what people think, then you're going to live more freely. You're going to do what you want. Nothing's really going to bother you. Do you know what I mean? So I think working on yourself, everything's a lesson. Everything, if it's not a blessing, it's a lesson.
Well, Demi, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you in the podcast, and I'm looking forward to keeping up with your story. And if anybody wants to reach out to Demi, we'll put her details in the comments to reach out, and join us next week for another episode of the Glasgow Memories Podcast.
Thank you for having me.